What's going on, everyone? Today I'm going to show you how to create some really nice vocal chops for your songs. Now, the song I created was like a future bass song, but this works for literally any genre. So you can follow along every step of the process. I pretty much show you how to do it within FL Studio and how to process it. So if you guys don't use FL, I actually linked below a couple of videos for Logic, or a video for Logic and a video for Ableton, which I've looked at in the past and I thought they were really good. So if you guys use those, you can definitely check them out. And in the video, I actually create a whole different vocal chop from the one you guys heard before, just so you guys can kind of see the whole creative process. So with that said, let's get into it. All right, so diving into this project, I created a little future bass something here. Sounds okay, but it works really well for the example here. You guys heard the vocal chop from before. It sounds like this. I'm actually going to recreate another one, or I guess create another one, because I think the way of doing this is so easy to do and you guys can create so many vocal chops. But number one is, where are you going to get a vocal at? One, you could remix something, remix a song that already exists and the acapellas out there. Or two, I like to use Splice. There's going to be a ton of vocals there that are actually pretty new. So like I said before, we are going to be doing this in FL Studio because I do use FL. But I still linked all the other Ableton and Logic videos. I'll link those below so you guys can check those out. But for right now, we are going to open up SliceX. And SliceX is FL Studio's slicer. And this is actually a ridiculously good way to use vocal chops. You can definitely do it by hand, but that would take loads of time. And I think what's good about SliceX is we could chop up the vocal exactly how we want it. We can delete parts we don't want out of the vocal. And then after we're done with it, we can actually play it on the piano. So we could jam out to it. We could go into the piano roll. I just think SliceX is just the best way in FL Studio. So with this vocal, you can see that it says 100 BPM and we're actually 95. So what we're going to want to do is stretch this back out, or just extend it back out, and then we're going to re-record this. Because if we drag that into SliceX, it's still going to be 100 BPM. It's not going to go with the Project 95. So to record this out, make sure you have all the reverb off. So I have a little bit of reverb on here. We can just delay or mute everything on here. We could arm the disk recording, Alt-R to record it out. So now we've got our vocal recorded out in 95 BPM actually recorded. We can open up SliceX once again. And I actually recommend, if you go to the top left here, we can detach it from the screen. That's going to make it so if we click out of this, normally that would be pushed to the back and it would go away. But we're going to be kind of going in and out here, so it's just easier to have it detached. So now I'll just double click your vocal, drag it right into SliceX. And the way we're going to cut this up is going to be semi-manual. So if we go to the flag right here, we can go to auto slice, medium auto slicing. Now, you could just leave it here and just do nothing else and just go into the piano roll, or you can go to the piano and just play some notes, because this is going to be playable on the piano roll. But a problem with it is, when you're jamming out like that, you're going to come across some things like this. Let me put my headphones on. You're going to come across this. Like, that's not really something that's going to create a lot of creativity when you're playing along, or this. Like, you're going to come across those notes while you're playing. So what I like to do, and it takes a lot of time, I like to go into each individual marker, delete the ones that I don't want, and then the other ones that I do want, I can just leave them there. So for example, I'll do a few, then I'll cut to the end of it. Like right here, I don't want that breath in there. What I want it to be is, if we're playing on a keyboard, I want every note to be possibly played in the actual vocal chop. So we can just delete this. What I like to do is just double click the marker. Then we can do Control X. That'll just delete it right out of there. Sometimes you want it to be extended, so let's actually find one. Like for this right here, this one, we actually want that to be extended because you guys can see it just cut off. But these two markers are still in the that same syllable. So we can right click that marker, delete. Right click, delete. And then now we got this. And if you have to fix any more timing issues, you guys can just drag the marker, which is really convenient. All right, so now we are all set up. Everything is kind of dialed in. All the bad vocal chops, all the breaths, all the really short ones that wouldn't make a big difference, they're all gone now. So now what I like to do is start with the actual like experimenting part. And then a really good thing to do is to have have a drop laid out, have some kind of rhythm laid out, or you could honestly just create some vocal chops over a chord progression like this. And let me actually grab the piano back there. Before we do that, actually, let's throw a little bit of processing on here. I have it already processed because I did the demo or the first vocal chop, but I'm just going to leave on some sidechain, and then we'll leave some reverb on there too. I'll talk about all this in a little bit. But for right now, we just have some reverb and then some sidechain. So we could write over this chord progression. What I'm doing here is I'm just looking for the notes that sound good to me. And what you'll find is you'll find patterns. So you'll find a couple that you like, you'll put them together. And since every note, every vocal is in the actual key of the song, all the notes on the keyboard are going to work. So that can make it harder or easier. But we can press any note on here, and there's actually a possibility, a big possibility, that's going to sound good. So we could write over that. At the very least, write over progression, some sort of bass line at least. But I like to have some kind of rhythm laid out already. So let me actually mute this vocal chop. Let me mute all these elements. So this is what I have so far, and we're gonna write over this. We're gonna loop this and write over it. But all we're gonna do is loop this, and then I'm gonna jam out for a little bit and see what I can come up with. This is gonna be chopped up like the video, because this could be a very long process or a very short process. All right, so enough of that messing around, just kind of getting a feel for everything. We're gonna add some processing. So I did add some EQ, some of the manipulator plugin, which this plugin is really good for just pitching vocals and just making everything sound a little different. And then we have some Camel Crush for distortion, Saturn 2 for even more distortion, but you guys can use stock FL distortion if you want to. Soothe, just so everything's not as harsh. If you guys don't have Soothe, don't worry about it. You can definitely EQ these out manually, but Soothe is just a ridiculously good plugin. All right, so I'm gonna try to find some sort of pattern here. All right, so we got our ending right here. And then what happens usually is I'll just kind of fill it in as I go. And you don't want to make it too random. You don't want to make it just like a bunch of random vocal chops. So I'm going to continue trying to find some sort of pattern here. And if you're not finding any ideas on the keyboard, you can definitely just resort to using the piano roll. I think it's a really good way. And then another cool thing with these vocal chops is on some of the chops, there's actually two words being played. So if we hold it down, let me find one real quick. Right there. Like right there. So what I'm doing here, it's not really a pretty process. It's not like you're gonna find something instantly. You might, but it's really just a trial or a process of trial and error. All right, so we've got a little two bar rhythm here, and then we got a little ending. So we can just copy and paste some of this. If you guys want, you can definitely change some of it, but just to make the video faster and to keep some sort of pattern, just so everything's not random, we're just gonna copy and paste that. See how it sounds. Like that's a little too complicated over here, so we can maybe just repeat this one instead. But that's how you can really create these vocal chops and just really effectively use SliceX instead of just dragging it in and just hoping for the best. So you can really pick out the vocal chops that you want versus the ones you don't want. So you can just delete the ones you don't want. I actually do like that one a lot, but this one, the first one I did, this one I kind of processed a little more and just added some more effects to it, like reverses and all that. But Actually, I don't know. I think I like the second one better, but I think I'm just attached to this first one, honestly. But that's it for this video. Make sure with the vocal chops, just make sure that you're really just experimenting with everything, trial and error. Maybe make, you know, if I were actually working on this song for real, I would probably do 3 to 5 these at least, because it's actually really fun. You know, believe it or not, like once you actually get past the whole like tweaking and editing part of the acapella in the in SliceX, it's just loads of fun from there on out. If you guys learned something here, let me know down below. You guys can check out all my sounds at klingmusic.com. All these sounds are from just past sample packs I've had, and then a lot of the presets are from top 100. A lot of future-based stuff in here. So if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know, and then I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.